Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Big Lee's World podcast. It is I, your host, Big Lee, coming to you once again from Big Lee's Boom Boom Room right here in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And tonight, I have with me none other than one of my favorite people, the host of Four Sides podcast, Mr. Caleb Carter. How you doing tonight, sir?
Doing well. How you doing, Lee?
Man, I cannot complain, not complain at all. Doing definitely a lot better than the last time I spoke with you. For those of y'all that missed it, make sure that you go over to the Four Sides Facebook and the Four Sides podcast and give that his episode a listen, to where we all talk about our adventure to Indianapolis, Indiana, and all of our escapades from there. And for those of you that haven't listened yet, kind of a spoiler, right before we start recording that episode, I ate a sandwich that was not very good. And yeah, it ended up making for a rough recording, to say the least.
Do you ever get any resolution on that sandwich?
No, honestly, I just ended up throwing it out. I think right after I got done recording, I was just so mad. And I was like, well, I don't know what to tell. I think it was kind of an embarrassment to once say, if I took it back to Walmart and been like, hey, you see where these teeth marks are? That's where the mold was, and it's still in date. And they'd be like, well, sir, you probably should have just put the lunch meat the way that a normal person does and not just like grab it and throw it on the bread. So no, I just ended up taking an L on that one, throwing it out, and then getting some more Tums and calling it a night.
Yeah, sometimes you got to take the L.
Yeah, that's the truth. Well, tonight, everybody, we are talking about some wrestling. Anybody that's listened to either the Big Lee's World podcast or the Four Sides podcast knows that we love to talk about that wrestling, don't we, Caleb?
Oh, yeah.
So, and tonight, what we are talking about AFU Hardcore, formerly known as Anafight Underground. So for
Undergrounds.
That's right. Long live the underground. Cheap, grubby, and out of control. So for those of you that have been following the podcast the past couple of episodes, y'all know that I took a little bit of a sabbatical to deal with some issues and to get my mind right, and kind of been going over some of the events and stuff that I've been doing and attending to get the mind right and everything. So if you've missed those episodes, make sure you go back and check them out. But that's kind of what this episode is going to be. We're going to talk about the past couple of shows that has happened leading to the big event this Thursday, depending if your list is right when it drops, April 28th at Quick Skating Rink in Anna, Illinois. It'll be AFU Hardcore, The Grudge. So with that being said, let's just start right out on it. Back in October, we had our 1-year anniversary show, and to say it was a wild night would be kind of being a little short with it, wouldn't you say, Caleb?
Indeed.
So yeah, we had quite a few barn burners on there. Did you have any real particular favorite match from that card?
Oh man, that Merc versus AJ Gray match was phenomenal.
I would have to say that so many people have said that, hey, this may be the greatest match in AFU Hardcore history. And I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like it's a strong contender.
Definitely a strong contender. I would say best non-hardcore match in AFU.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I'll give you that one. Most definitely. Also another big one on that card, Madman Pondo versus Atticus Kogar. That was a fun one to watch in person. I got the honor of picking up Atticus from the airport and spending the afternoon with him as we killed time before the show started. So it was a good first year anniversary. I think the crowd was really into it. We had a lot of hype going into the Pondo Kogar match. So look here and see what else was on the card. We had Herzog versus Mickey Knuckles, Matt Cross versus Mad Dog Connolly. Yeah, what's your thoughts on Matt Cross?
I I've told this to several people. I've never seen a bad Matt Cross match, and I think that match was another great one that people, I think, kind of slept on a little bit because, just a stacked card in general. Sometimes certain matches get lost in the shuffle.
Oh yeah,
But yeah,
most definitely. I feel like, and I mean, this was the same when Matt Cross came over to CCW. It was like Matt Cross puts on great matches. I just feel like sometimes this area is not very hip to Matt Cross, and I think, like you said, they kind of sleep on it there.
yeah, they don't truly appreciate just his style wrestling, just how good he is.
Yeah, that's very true. I feel like that I lost my train of thought there. It happens a lot, y'all. For those of y'all that are listening, y'all know this already. But anyways, yeah, I think a lot of it that way. Another one. So if I remember right, I want to make sure I don't get my shows mixed up here because that also happens too. Uh Thud Powell versus Sean Campbell. I will be honest with you, I don't remember who Thud Powell was. But what I do know is, if I remember this right, that was supposed to be Davey Richards, correct?
Yeah, you are correct.
Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, Davey Richards couldn't make the show due to some issues that came up last minute. So Thud Powell took on Sean Campbell. I'll be honest with you, when Sean Campbell first came in, didn't have a clue anything about him. And from what I've seen from his time here at AFU Hardcore and some of the stuff down south, he's definitely worked his way up to become one of my favorites.
Yeah, I second that. Like, I've had conversations with you before. Like, Sean came in and was a good wrestler. I kind of felt like at first he kind of had a little trouble connecting with the audience, but he's become probably one of Anna's top 3 heels, probably, because every time he goes out there, like, people just love to boo the shit out of him, and he's just a heat magnet.
He is, for sure. And I think a lot of it came to, like, I think looking back at the first year and looking at some of the shows and looking towards the progression of where the company has went, I think that, especially in someone like me in the front office, we notice things like that crowd is more and more of a hardcore fan base. Like, they want the violence. And I think if you look at somebody like a Sean Campbell, like just out of the blue, like if you knew nothing about him, you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, this guy, like, this guy don't look like anything. But once you see him work, like, he's a really great worker and he's not afraid to get his hands dirty in the process. So I definitely think that, AFU Hardcore is really lucky to get him in there in the early portion of his career as he continues to blow up, doing the whole KOBK thing with Akira and them.
Absolutely.
I think it's a good spot for him. So with that being said, kind of wrap up the 1 year anniversary show. Like I said, it was a good first year anniversary. I look forward to each year anniversary coming forward. And like I said, it's always great to have the 440 guys like Atticus Kogar there. And then, legends like Madman Pondo, Mickey Knuckles, things of that nature on there too. So with that being said, we move to my favorite show in the Anafight Underground history, Big Lee's Birthday Bash 2. Do you know Big Lee?
I've heard of him. I've heard he's interesting fella.
I heard he's a terrible person. I wouldn't associate with that guy for nothing.
I will say, not just because you're here, but this is true, 100% real, honest opinion. I think this was my favorite AFU show as well. Not just because it was the top drawing show in history, but got to do commentary that night, and probably one of my favorite shows I've got to commentate.
So that's a lesson for all you promoters out there. If you want to draw your biggest houses, what you need to do is make sure that Big Lee is your namesake and on the flyer. you're like, nope, I'm not co-signing that one.
What was your favorite match on this card, Lee?
Man, that's a tough one to say here because so many great matches. I mean, looking at the just looking at the card here, first off, I got to do commentary for probably the one and only time on this show, and that was for the three-way for the championship between Cash Borden, Dalton Diamond, and Ty Blade. And yeah, the upper management said I was a little too rough on commentary. So I think I have been banned from commentary. So I think to be able to do commentary with you, I think it was an honor to get to do that. And I think we just had a lot of fun with that match. You know, unfortunately, I wasn't happy with how it ended, but, you know, Dalton Diamond's the champ now. And I don't know how I feel about it happening on the birthday bash, but what about you, Caleb? What was your favorite match?
I think my favorite match was AJ Gray versus Stonewall.
Another great match there. Stonewall, another great up and coming talent coming out of that. He's out of Evansville, ain't he? I know he wrestles a lot for like WWA. Him and Ray Waddell.
I believe he's out of Evansville or Kentucky. I don't remember which one it is right now, but the area.
I got you. Yeah, you're kind of like, it's like, it's one of those. Another great match, Jacques Kennedy versus Anakin Murphy. A lot of the I don't want to say, like, I call him like out of the Springfield area, but I don't know, like, is that considered middle Illinois?
Yeah, I mean, Springfield is literally right in the middle of Illinois. So
okay, thoughts on this match?
Loved it. Really, real technical. The storytelling in the match with Jock and Anakin, because that was a match that was building pretty much the entire year.
Yeah, and I think that feud's still going to this day. So
yeah, I love Jock Kennedy's style of wrestling so much with the submissions, which, you know, that's kind of a style of wrestling that I appreciate.
I got you. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a submission fans' dream match, which also sounds really weird to say. But Sadika versus Herzog, that was a trip and a half. Because if you're following the deathmatch groups, that match got pretty well gift. I don't know if that's how you say it, gift.
Like gift?
Yeah, like they made a lot of gifts of it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if gift is a word, but
we'll go with it.
Yeah. And you know, with that infamous testicle spot with Sadika and Herzog. So that was a trip in itself. Madman Pondo versus Neil Diamond Cutter. It's a mouthful to say tonight. I think people saw this on the card, and I don't think people put together how good of a match this would be. What are your thoughts?
I always like seeing light tubes.
Yeah.
Pondo plus Neil Diamond Cutter plus light tubes equals one hell of a main event.
Oh, yeah. It was a bloodbath. Make sure if you haven't got to see any of these shows, go back to IWTV and check them out. You can find it at AFUHardcore.com. If you just go there and click the link for IWTV, it'll take you directly to the AFU Hardcore Anafight Underground page for the shows, and you can watch them there. A little bit of a backstory here. I know you said something about Merck versus Toby Farley.
I was going. Well, that was Merck versus AJ Gray from the last show, but I was going to say that was another dark horse match.
Very, you know, Toby Farley's become one of my favorites at AFU Hardcore, and absolutely, like, him and Merck killed it. But I will have some information for you. Originally, it was not supposed to be Toby Farley. Do you know who originally was booked for that match?
I feel like I should know. I can't remember.
I mean, you make the graphics. I just don't know if it ever made it to the actual graphics part or not.
Yeah, well,
So
that was
halfway it's
that
like
was
a tease for the listeners, and the other half is like, do you know or do you not know?
well. I mean, it's been since December, so
So originally it was supposed to be Merc versus Tank,
that's right. That's right.
but unfortunately, Tank told us ahead of time that he had some previous commitments that came up, and unfortunately, he wasn't going to be able to make the show. So we look forward to having Tank in the future. So, but it's still a great match. Like I said, Toby Farley, he's got a strong future ahead of him here in AFU Hardcore. And I may know a thing or two about some future plans that's going to happen involving Toby Farley that's going to be even bigger than what anybody could imagine. So, shout out to him. Shout out to Merc. Merc's really, so I hate to say it this way that he stepped up his game because I enjoyed the original Graham Bell character with the bazooka and everything. But I say that he has stepped his game up even more since he's kind of transitioned more from Graham Bell to this Merc and his general character, I guess you could say. I'm not sure what the exact word is that I'm looking for here.
I kind of compare it to when Jake Parnell became just Warhorse and invested so much more into that character. I kind of see Merc doing that right now.
Yeah, most definitely.
And it's paying off big time.
Yeah, I definitely, he's had, he's been doing a couple of those ICW shows when they come through like Chattanooga. I would like to see him, Danny, if you're listening to this, go ahead and pick up Merc for some of these other shows. I think, just outside of that Chattanooga market, I think he'll still do good no matter where you put him, whether you do it at the Hart Ballroom or if you do it back in Indy or Chicago or wherever you run it. Like, if you don't have Merc on your show is severely slacking.
Right. What Merc is what we call a jack of all trades. Like, he can do hardcore wrestling, he can do regular wrestling, and he's still gonna put on a 5-star match.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And I was saying this to Noah the other day. Shout out to Noah. You know who Merc reminds me a lot of, just kind of looking at him and like his style of wrestling, his physique. He reminds me a lot of like Chris Jericho when he had the long hair in like WCW.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I could definitely see that now that you pointed it out. So yeah, like I said, overall, this had to be, for multiple reasons, my favorite show so far of In a Fight Underground, now known as AFU Hardcore. So, I'm definitely looking forward to Big Lee's Birthday Bash 3. Maybe by then I can be on the good side of management and get back on commentary.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, that reminds me. I have something to talk to you about after this recording.
All right.
And for those of y'all listening, you'll find out about it soon enough. But that reminds me. So from there, this is where it gets really interesting. We moved to the February 24th show, AFU Hardcore, No Friends in the Industry. So this was a rough ordeal all around.
Yeah.
Would you like to start out telling us why it was rough?
Well, we had a snow/ice storm, so that certainly didn't help us.
At the end of February, like who would have thought?
Right.
So yeah, that made everything seem it was just bad. It was just bad all around. But hey, we made it work. And I want to thank everybody that risked life and limb to make it out to that show during the snowstorm. We kind of inside running joke that even during an ice storm, it still wasn't our worst drawing show. So
that is true.
But that's for those that need to know. But nonetheless, this was another stacked card, and I feel like it kind of got slept on just because of that ice storm. So if you didn't make that, if you missed the show because of it, and you want to go check this out because this card is stacked. Like I said, go to afuhardcore.com, go to the Watch on IWTV link, and check it out there because you will. This show, like this, we started out 2022 hot with this. So, I mean, just right off the bat, AJ Gray, Toby Farley, GCW Extreme Championship. This match was crazy.
That's how you open the show there.
Yes. Like, I was surprised that honestly, I was surprised that they let us defend the GCW Extreme Championship at AFU Hardcore. So I thought that was cool all around itself. Tag Team Warfare 3. Dalton Diamond and RSP versus Cash Borden and Ty Blade. So there's a lot of elements to this. During Tag Team Warfare 2, Cash and RSP were tag partners during this. And now Ricky is on Dalton's side because Ricky just does whatever he wants for the payout and is willing to team with, as I call him, trash bag Dalton Diamond. And then, of course, do we want to talk about what happens there? Or I think it's probably pretty evident at this point for anybody that follows AFU Hardcore that Cash turned on his back on the fans, turned his back on his tag partner, and aligned himself with trash bag Dalton Diamond and his manager, Nick. Was it Ferrero?
Believe so.
Yeah, he was one of the ones that sent me a very hostile message after he watched back my commentary on his their match in December and did not appreciate some of the not so nice things I had to say about him and Dalton. So when I see him this Thursday, we'll see what he has to say face to face.
Yeah, I would have never seen Cash siding with Dalton Diamond in a million years. Well,
Yeah,
maybe back to like the Boys in the Hood day, but with everything that's transpired in like the past year and a half with them since AFU has started, like I would have never ever seen that coming.
Yeah, I mean, the Boys in the Hood died a long time ago and it should have stayed dead. I don't know why they're trying to think they can get this back together. And their vocal piece, the Nick Ferrero guy, yeah, that guy's exactly, I'm sure he probably couldn't point to the hood in the map. So, yeah, I was let down. Cash is my boy, but come on, man, do better.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear Cash Borden's reasoning behind what he did.
Yeah, I mean, he posted a little clip out on the AFU Hardcore Facebook page, kind of talking about just pure simple. He did it for the money, which, I mean, the guy's name's Cash. What do you expect, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
So, Larry D, Tyler Thorne. This was all I remember about this match was it was very long.
Yes, it was.
Gary J versus Jocks Kennedy. It was a technical match, kind of hard hitting. I know a lot of folks liked it. They did good. It's not my realm of the death matches, so I'm not really that overly qualified to comment on it. But you got any thoughts on it?
I think it's good to have matches like that on your cards, whether you're a death match show or not, because
yeah,
like the thing that got me hooked to GCW is like people talk about the death matches, but you also see a whole lot of other styles of wrestling. Like you see comedy wrestling, technical wrestling, so forth, and I think that's something that AFU has done well.
See, I think for me, like that's where I kind of start fading out is when it gets less and less a hardcore, just because it doesn't mean that it's bad. It just doesn't hold my attention.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I'm a big deathmatch guy. That's what made me want to get back in the wrestling business, promoting and stuff like that, is because this was hardcore. But speaking of which, this was a surprise match, an interesting match. The difference, Jordan Whitaker and Ray Waddell versus the debuting Derek James and Blake Steele.
The Man of Steel. This was a good match for it obviously being put together at the last minute. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, most definitely. Definitely, I'm a big fan of the difference. Ray Waddell and Jordan Whitaker, like another up and coming tag team. I know they've been in it for a while, but they're really just kind of getting their name out there now. And, they have a bright future ahead of them.
Indeed.
So moving from there, Merc versus Anakin Murphy, two of my favorites. They left it all out there. You just need to go and watch that match for sure. Now, someone else who also left it out in the ring, although it wasn't that much to leave out there, Brian Richards with B-Rad against Bull Bronson. Seriously, like, I don't get it with these two.
You feel like they would have learned by now.
Yes. Like, come on, like, what are you trying to prove here? And it's sure not being smart going up against Bull Bronson.
I mean, this isn't even the first time that they've encountered Bull Bronson either. If
right.
You call back to what show was that? Was that the Madman Pondo's birthday bash or celebration?
I think so.
I can't remember exactly what show it was, but it's like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
I'm really proud that you did not butcher that.
Hey.
Anytime I try to say something like that, I butcher it. So I'm proud of you there.
I just kind of pulled it off randomly. It happens.
Now, another fun match. Tag team death match. Team OMG, Insane Lane and Brad Cash against Roscoe Eat Lisa. I was glad to finally have Brad Cash in AFU Hardcore. I know he was supposed to come in. I think he was originally announced for I want to say it was a 1-year anniversary, but unfortunately it didn't work out and he wasn't going to be able to make that show. So I was glad to have him there. And I love Insane Lane. To me, Insane Lane's another one of those guys that, like, if he's not on your show, you are missing out. Like, if you want a hard worker who's not afraid to bleed, not afraid to get dirty, you need Insane Lane. Plus the fact that people forget that he is a hardcore legend.
Yeah, I don't know how I felt about him saying he's going to kill the kid, but definitely very.
Yeah, we've all had those days.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Think of all the things that you've said to Noah.
You got to think of the public image of AFU Hardcore, Lee.
I mean, don't bother someone named Insane Lane. I mean, I feel like it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Brian Richards and B-Rad. Like, you kind of got to know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
So with that, we move into another match that does not need to be slept on. I'm telling y'all, if you did not watch the show, go out of your way to watch it. Mickey Knuckles versus my dude, Neil Diamond Cutter.
Yeah, this was a Beat My Valentine death match.
Right. And I mean, personally, anybody would be lucky to have Mickey Knuckles as their Valentine.
I really enjoyed this match.
Wow, you totally sidestepped that one.
Gotta stay on topic, Lee.
Are you trying to say you would not want to have Mickey Knuckles as your Valentine?
Well, I mean, after that little I don't know. I feel like Mickey Knuckles would embarrass me, kind of like she did back at the dance.
You gotta.
I know. I'm just not really into the whole what you calls it, the humility thing with in dating, yada yada, or Valentine's, yada yada.
Hey, it could be a chance for you to give it back to her in more ways than one. Wink, wink. I can just imagine for the people out there that's not able to see, like how red your face is at the moment, like Kool-Aid Man level.
I mean, you can't see either because we don't have cameras on, so
that you know of. He's like, But anyways, back on topic here. So, like I said, this was a great match. What's awesome though, after this match, a bloody Neil Diamond Cutter, dedicated to the craft, is out there helping us. Him, Ty Blade, and a few other of us are out there trying to run barbed wire for the main event. No rope, barbed wire, death match. Madman Pondo versus the Death Samurai Akira.
Great to see Akira back in the AFU.
Yeah, most definitely glad to have him back there. He's blown up from the time that I've seen him in Crossville, Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
Wearing a mask, and not one of them chin diaper masks. I'm talking about a real mask. Somebody's going to listen to this like for the first time, and they're going to be like, what is wrong with that guy? Is he like nuts? And the answer is yes. But so yeah, Madman Pondo versus Akira, no rope barbed wire. This match was crazy. Another one of my top in AFU Hardcore. And also, I think that this is where we kind of decided that we wanted to start rebranding the company, kind of move away from the Anna Fight Underground name and kind of transition to branding as AFU Hardcore. What's your thoughts on AFU Hardcore? Do you like it? Do you hate it?
I like it.
I think it's more simple. It's more complex. Or not complex. It's more simple. It's less complex. People are like, one of the biggest things that we get from people is they're like, who's Anna? And it's like,
it's better for marketing and advertising and things like that.
Most definitely. And I think it kind of gets the true meaning of what we're doing here across. So, do we want to talk about the other elephant in the room with this show?
The elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Which one?
People want to know what happened to Charlie Haas.
Oh, yeah. Didn't he get like his flight delayed or something because of the weather?
So here's the true story of what happened with Charlie Haas. Charlie Haas was flying out of Texas. Charlie Haas's flight got delayed multiple times, in which we were getting the alerts as well. We told him about 2 hours before he boarded the plane that don't worry about it. The weather is too bad. And once you get here, it's going to take forever once your plane actually gets here. Well, he turned his phone off. So apparently he never got the messages until he landed in St. Louis. So at that point, our driver already left a couple hours beforehand because of how bad the weather was. So unfortunately, Charlie Haas was at the airport until the next. Well, he wasn't at the airport. He was in St. Louis. We did put him up in a nice hotel in the meantime until he could fly out the next day. So we didn't leave him stranded at the airport or anything like that. It's just one of those things. It's like we tried to reach him before he got on the plane. He decided to turn his phone off. He never got the messages. Once he finally turned it back on, then unfortunately he was in St. Louis and he just had to stay in a nice hotel for free.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a moral to the story out there for everybody listening to this. Make sure if you're traveling for somebody that you don't turn your phone off in the middle of travel.
Right.
So to me, that's kind of common knowledge, but hey, Things happen, different strokes, different folks. We live
Yep.
to fight another day, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So with that being said, we're going to move to the future, which is this Thursday night, depending on when you're listening to this. If you listen to it right when it drops, it's this Thursday night, April the 28th. AFU Hardcore presents The Grudge at Quick Skating Rink in Anna, Illinois. Tickets are going to be $17 at the door. Doors open at 6. Bell time is at 7. And it will be recorded for IWTV. I had to sit here and think what it was called. And we may have a few other surprises in store for you. So with that being said, let's kind of run over the card here. So starting out, it looks like we have a 6-person tag. We're going to have The Difference and Savion Ayers. Is that how you say it? I just call him a Savion.
Savion Ayers.
Savion Ayers. Okay. The pull-aparters, I believe that's correct. Right?
I believe
that's what?
The difference?
No, there's a difference when it's just the two of them. But when Savion's with them, they're called the pull-aparters.
Are they? All right. That's
Yeah.
news to me. That's news to me.
The Skimmerhorns and Jacques Kennedy will be challenging them. I don't care what they say. I know they're supposed to come on the podcast soon enough. They should have stayed as Lethal Injection.
Yeah, Lethal Injection or the Skimmerhorns. I love them either way, especially Brad.
Yeah, I like to give them a hard time. And
yeah,
they look at me like they're psycho, like they want to say something, but then they're like, I probably shouldn't.
Well, Briar to me is more quiet. Brad is more of the talker. It's like I genuinely enjoy talking with Brad.
Yeah.
And Brad.
Even though when they're good guys over in Cape, I still have to give them a hard time. And then Jacques Kennedy will be on their side there for a 6-person tag. So that should be an interesting bout. Next up, Toby Farley is going to take on Tyler Thorne. Poor Tyler Thorne. I don't know if you've been following Toby Farley. If you don't, you need to follow him on all of your socials, on Facebook and Twitter. I don't think he has an Instagram, but Facebook and Twitter for sure. He's been dabbling more and more into the death matches and the ultra violence in his time from the last AFU Hardcore show to now. So I think that's going to be a little rough situation for Tyler Thorne. I don't know if Tyler Thorne's going to be ready for the ultra violence that is waiting for him.
I mean, most of Tyler Thorne's matches in AFU have been kind of more of old school style wrestling matches. So this is definitely going to be something different for him, I feel. Toby Farley, a very intimidating dude. Like the first time he came to AFU, he wore pants with blood on them and came out to a song called Counting Bodies Like Sheep to the Rhythm of a War Drum. If that doesn't shout scary, I don't know what does.
Yeah, he's a very intimidating fellow. And like I said, with him dabbling more and more into the deathmatch realm, I think Tyler Thorne's going to have a late night. Going to that is a sleeper match on this card, I feel like. Merc versus Sean Campbell. What are you expecting out of this match?
I haven't seen a bad Merc match in AFU yet.
Right.
And I kind of feel like Merc is just a great match machine, basically. Like any match, he can put on any match with any person.
And you have to try hard not to have a good match with Merc.
Right.
And like I said earlier, Campbell is on the rise as well.
I think if I'm going to go out and make a bold prediction, I think this is not that any of his matches were bad before, because they certainly weren't, but I think this is going to be a big moment for Sean Campbell to shine. And I'm calling it right now. This is going to be his best match in AFU so far.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Also, I'd like to point out it sounds like you're riding a motorbike in the background.
Oh, it's because I'm laying on my bed.
No, it's because it sounded like a motorbike just like drove by your apartment.
Oh yeah, that did too. Yeah, that totally happened too.
Yeah, because I was listening to it, I was like, I just started laughing. So next up for the AFU Hardcore Championship, Trash Bag Dalton Diamond Open Challenge. So as the time of this recording, we know who has accepted Trash Bag Dalton Diamond's challenge. Go ahead, Caleb, tell them who it is.
Billy Starks of the Big Starks brand.
Space Jesus.
Indeed.
This should be an interesting match. Dalton answered Billy Stark's challenge last year when she made her AFU debut, and now she is returning the favor to Dalton.
Yeah, and she could walk out with the title.
Do you think, I was going to say, do you think she walks away with the title?
Well, I mean, if we're doing the whole statistics with the open challenges, she or Dalton answered her open challenge and won, so it's quite possible that she could answer his open challenge and win. But then again, you have that factor of picture perfect Nick Ferrero and Cash Borden wherever he's at. You never know how he's going to get involved, since obviously he's on Dalton Diamond's side now.
Well, I think she may have something to worry about with whatever you just called Nick Ferrero, but I think she can handle her own against Nick.
Yeah, my concern is this is only her second time in AFU Hardcore. Does she have a lot of allies on her side?
Well,
in AFU anyways.
I don't know if you've seen yet, but following our good friend Mikey from Black Label Pro, he he just had their show, and at their show not that long ago, we seen the debut of Bully Starks, and I think that may be what it takes for her to get the W against Trash Bag Dalton Diamond. You think we're going to see that evil side of Billy Starks?
I mean, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes.
That's right.
Sometimes you gotta be evil with evil.
That's right. But he mentioned Cash Borden. I don't necessarily think that he's gonna have to worry too much about what Cash is gonna do, or if Billy's gonna have to worry about Cash interfering, because Cash is gonna have his hands tied because he is gonna be facing the monster Bull Bronson.
Yeah, this match was supposed to happen a while back when Cash was still the champion, I believe.
Yes, correct.
So,
and Bull,
this is kind of one of those 6 months or even a year in the making matches.
Most definitely. And of course, Bull has a chip on his shoulder. He felt like he's been wrong for his title, not getting his title shot. And Bull's already a pretty angry person as it is. So I don't feel sorry too often for Cash, but this one, I think Cash may be in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, I'd say.
So with that being said, we move on to I don't know if it's going to be semi-main, kind of looking at the poster here, but it is four corner, hold on, I can't say the word, 4-corner survival match. Is this for a number one contendership, I do believe, correct?
Yes, I do believe, for the Brass Knuckles title, it says.
So this is going to be a bloodbath. We've got the queen of the death match, Mickey Knuckles, taking on Anakin Murphy, taking on Stonewall, taking on double duty Jocks Kennedy.
The double duty luminary, Jock Kennedy.
There you go. I was trying to think of something snazzy to say, but it just wasn't coming to me here.
I got you. I
got too tied up struggling to say 4-corner. It doesn't roll off the tongue like 4 sides does.
Yeah. 4 sides of a ring, makes sense.
Four Sides Podcast, foursidesiv.com.
Yes, sir.
How'd you like that plug?
That was great. That was beautiful.
Thanks. Lead now, like I said, this is going to be a bloodbath. I've got Mickey winning this. What do you think?
I think it's definitely going to be different for Anakin, Stonewall, and Jock, being that they don't really have the experience in hardcore matches in AFU. You know, Mickey's going to bring that hardcore style, but I can't bet against Stonewall because just his performances lately and just how he's been on a roll.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I know that I talked to big fan of AFU Hardcore, big fan of Four Sides Podcast, big fan of the Big Lee's World podcast, Mr. Robert Young, and he has informed me he has all kinds of weapons made up for this show. And he told me, he's like, man, I've got all these weapons made. I hope they get used. And I told him, I said, well, I've got a feeling that a couple of these folks here, they're willing to make somebody bleed, and they're going to use all the weapons possible.
Yep. Shout out to you, Bob. Hope you're doing well, my friend.
That's right, brother. We love you. Hope you're doing well, and we hope to see you soon. Well, I guess we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see you Thursday night. All goes well. And with that, we lead into the main event, a death match war between two princes. Do what?
That's just what I was getting ready to say. We were talking about each other.
Hey, great minds think alike. The original Prince of the Death Match, Neil Diamond Cutter, takes on the 2021 Prince of the Death Match, the Carver of Cutter's Alley. This is going to be nasty. This is going to be not for the weak at heart. There's going to be blood. You better be ready.
Yeah, I said like the style of wrestling I like more is more the technical wrestling, but this is probably one of the more hardcore matches that I've been most excited for lately, is this match.
Yeah, this has been brewing for a long time. I remember when this match came up in the booking meeting, it was like, we have to do this.
I mean, two generations of Princess going at it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised this match hasn't been done before. Like, that's what's crazy to me.
Right.
So yeah, this is going to be a barn burner of a match. Slobber knocker, as our good buddy JR says. And like I said, this whole card's stacked from top to bottom. I'm sure there's going to be a couple surprises in store, a couple big announcements for our next show in June following this. I do know that once some announcements are made at that show, we are going to do a limited edition run of pre-sale tickets for the June show. I will give you this spoiler for those listening and want to be ready. We're going to be doing $15 pre-sale tickets Thursday night only for the June show. After that, after the show's over, you haven't got your tickets, then they're going to be available online. They're going to be $17 in advance. And for what's going to happen in June, it's going to be $20 at the door. So if you want to get locked in on that super cheap rate, then make sure that you get your tickets in advance. Get them when we sell them the day, this Thursday, let's say the day of the next show, but yeah, this Thursday, you're getting about a $5 discount, and they will not be that cheap again for this June show, because what's going to happen with this June show is going to be off the chains. Probably one of our most notorious shows ever.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta pay more for.
Does that sound like I'm really hyping it up?
Oh,
Somebody's gonna listen to this and be like, well, you didn't get John Cena versus Hulk Hogan, so I'm not happy.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I won't throw any names out, but I've heard there was a place I used to go to a little up north past St. Louis, and they had like $20 tickets, and there was another show running in town that had like $12 tickets, and they were complaining about the other show being $20, even though they were bringing in a lot of big names.
Yeah.
So sometimes sometimes paying that extra dollar will bring in bigger names,
Right. Plus,
So
also this show and this Thursday, the 28th, we will be doing a special all Anna Fight Underground t-shirts. It's going to be $20. So if you listen to this, that may or may not have been approved by upper management yet. So if something happens that it doesn't get approved, if you come up and you say you heard it on the podcast, even if it doesn't get approved, then we'll still give you the shirt for $20. We'll call it the listener's advantage.
there you go. That's what you guys get. Thanks for listening this far, guys.
Yeah, if you've listened to this far, we appreciate it. So what are you looking for the most for this Thursday night besides getting to see me?
I am super hyped for this Neil Diamond Cutter versus Carver match. I think that match is worth the price of admission alone.
Oh yeah, most definitely. This one will be a good one to also watch back on. Just like all of our other previous shows that you can watch on IWTV.
Yeah. Also looking forward to Merck versus Campbell. I'm excited to see Dalton Diamond and Billy Starks run it back, even if we don't like Dalton Diamond,
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say something, but I'm not going to. Dalton would get upset if I said that. Whenever he comes out and cuts a promo, to me, it sounds like it's time for a bathroom break.
Well, I mean, I've been on commentary these past few shows. I did the ring announcing once, but I think it's gonna feel nice because we just went to like the Squared Circle Expo, and like before that, I was doing shows for a few weekends in a row, and it was just kind of nice to just get to kind of relax and be a fan, and that's kind of what I'm gonna do this show. Is just kind of kick back,
Yeah, because what is it? You'll get a little break this Thursday, but come Saturday, you'll be back in action here in Cape for Cape Championship Wrestling Homecoming.
That's right. Saturday, April 30th. Get your tickets at capewrestling.com. Also, don't forget to get your meet and greet there with the ECW original Sabu.
Sabu. Oh, that reminds me. Originally, Sabu was supposed to come in for the birthday bash, but that was during the time, right around the time that his wife Melissa Coates passed away, or Super Genie, as many known her. So he was kind of stepping back for a little bit then. So unfortunately, he couldn't make that show. So if you listen to the Four Sides podcast episode where we talk about our adventure to Indy, we both got to meet Sabu, and also it'll be really exciting to get to see Sabu again. 2 weeks after we just seen him.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you guys are coming from out of town for this AFU Hardcore show and you're wanting to stay for the weekend, come check out the show on Saturday. Meet Sabu.
That's right.
Watch me do my thing.
Yeah, come out and get you a Four Sides podcast 8x10 signed by the Caleb Carter.
Yeah, I need to get me some more of those.
Yeah, I need to. I just about sold out of mine. I need to get some more printed, but I need to get rid of a few extras here, may do something a little different. So with that being said, make sure that check out AFU the Hardcore presents The Grudge this Thursday night, April 28th, Quick Skating Rink, Anna, Illinois. Make sure to check out some of our sponsors. Like I said, make sure to check out Four Sides Podcast. Make sure to check out our friends at No Fodes Collectibles to if you want to get into your wrestling endeavors, toys, shirts, things like that, hit up No Folds. They have a great collection of stuff they sell at reasonable prices. And with that being said, man, Caleb, I appreciate you taking time to join me for this on this endeavor, back down history road, looking at the evolution of Anna Fight Underground to the transition of AFU Hardcore. Some of these past couple events that, unfortunately, like I said, I kind of stepped back away from the podcasting for a little bit and didn't get a chance to talk about. And looking forward to seeing you at the Grudge. Where can everybody find you at?
Always good to talk to you, Lee. You guys can find me at foursidesiv.com. Got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We got a pro wrestling tee, so get your Four Sides shirt. And yeah, check us out. Just find us at foursidesiv.com.
Did you ever get your foursidesiv.com updated with Pro Wrestling Tees link?
I did.
All right, perfect. So it's a one-stop shop. Go to foursidesiv.com. Make sure to go give Caleb a like, follow, subscribe on the podcast platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Make sure to go pick up a Four Sides IV t-shirt at the Pro Wrestling Tees. And thanks for listening to this podcast. I really appreciate the love and support. As always, if you ever have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to shoot me an email at bigleesworld@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Big Lee's World. You can follow my personal Instagram at BigLee756. Subscribe to us on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you listen to your podcast. We're there. If we're not there, shoot me a message. Let me know, and I will make sure that we get that podcast on there. And like I said, I thank you all for the support, traveling with me down this road, helping support. I appreciate all the feedback from the previous episodes that you have given me. I appreciate the love and support, like I say. And then Caleb, once again, thanks for joining me. And thanks to everybody who's listening. And as always, 2 scoops of whoop, 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 whoop.